Parker, I asked the guys on Miami's team too. I mean, first, congratulations on reaching the championship game. But what does it mean not only to you to be playing in this game, but it's the first ever Miami against Ohio championship game, and just what that means to have a rivalry game on this field over in Detroit.
Yeah, I think it's a really cool thing that, we're able to do this with, now there being no conferences. We are both able to play in the MAC championship. Um, so I think it's really cool. And I think it's good for both schools and the rivalry and, just continuing that competitive spirit we have between one another. And yeah, just going out there and putting it on display.
Thanks. First question is from Steve Helwick. Steve, your microphone is open.
Hi, Parker. You spent several years at Ohio as the backup quarterback before taking the reins this year. Getting to work under quarterbacks such as Dylan Gabriel and Curtis Rourke that are leading teams to college football playoff appearances this year, what did you learn from them and channel that into your first season as a starter?
Yeah, I always say my first 2 years being under Dylan, I learned a ton about preparation. In terms of like the X's and O's. He was always in the film room, drawing up the plays a ton, thinking through every possibility, every coverage that we could get, every look, and thinking about the different ways he could react um, for any given play. And so I took away, I think, a ton from Dylan in terms of preparation. And then Curtis. Curtis is just a competitor, and he's got some crazy arm talent. And again, he's one of those guys that's a great decision maker. And I think I took away from him is like in certain situations, what's the smart thing to do with the football? What you can and can't do. Let's say in a clock situation. Curtis was great at those things, and I think I really took some things from his game in that respect.
And Parker, your roster, especially your offense, was kind of gutted by graduation, the portal over the offseason. Did last year's Myrtle Beach Bowl, where you guys were shorthanded offensively, had a lot of guys out of that game, and you guys still looked very good on offense. Did that game kind of inspire confidence on what this 2024 Bobcats team was going to be capable of?
Yeah, I definitely think it did. Um, I think that speaks to the coaches as well. Being able to have us rally together, being able to put a good game plan in that plays to our strengths, despite, like you said, all the losses. It speaks to what they can do and their abilities in terms of calling plays. And then obviously this year, the guys that they brought in, um, the talent that they can find, but also with the most important part, which is getting everyone bought in on a common mission and creating a brotherhood, which they've obviously done.
Thanks, Parker.
Yep.
Next, we'll go to Bobby Keegan. Bobby, your microphone's open.
So last time out against Miami, Parker, you had two interceptions. Backup ended up coming into the game. Since then, you guys have really been playing your best football, especially you individually. Just what do you think you've kind of learned since that game that you can take into this game?
Um, just to continue to learn how to find ways to take care of the football. That's really been the biggest thing. I think they have a really good team. They have a really good defense. Um, we played them once, and it was a tough one for us offensively, but I think there's a lot of takeaways that we have learned just watching that film, breaking down that film. Um, areas to exploit, areas to learn from. But in terms of what I can say, I think it's just taking care of the football, making good decisions, and keeping the offense moving downfield.
Okay. Okay. Next, we'll go to Grant Kiefer. Grant, your microphone's open.
Hey, Parker, first off, congratulations on being second team All MAC, but still wasn't first team. I know that there was some chatter about you possibly getting player of the year and offensive player of the year, excuse me. And Brett Gabbert got first team All MAC. Does that add any added motivation coming into this weekend?
Not really. I'm pretty motivated as it is. I want to win MAC championship. I don't really care about the accolades. Um, there's always that aspect if you want to prove yourself and you want, prove that you're capable, you're able to do what it takes to win. But, in terms of added motivation for me personally, not really. I applaud him. He's a good quarterback. I just want to get it done Saturday on the field.
Any further questions? Oh, we do have one. Joe, your microphone's open.
Thanks. Uh, Parker, you obviously came to Ohio from UCF. I think your journey as a quarterback is a little bit unique in that when you came to Ohio, as you talked about, you spent a couple of years there learning from the other guys, learning to be the starter, whereas it seems like there's a lot of guys at multiple positions who enter the transfer portal and think, I need to go somewhere where I can play right away. So I'm curious if you have any, advice for players who might be entering the transfer portal and thinking how they should think in terms of where they could fit, or just, your thoughts on your own approach in that regard, I guess.
Yeah, I would say, for me to make the decision to transfer from UCF was a tough one. It's not one that I made quick. It took a lot of thought and discussion with family and close friends. But I would just say the grass isn't always greener on the other side, and to make a wise decision, and to know yourself and your own capabilities, but also to know when patience is needed. And I think there's a lot of kids who could benefit from development at one school. I know a lot of my development has come here at Ohio, but I think there's something to be said about sticking to a school, developing as a player, and facing those position battles that you need to face, while believing in yourself that you can continue to get better, and potentially have that starting role. So yeah, the grass isn't always greener. I would say never jump ship too quick, and continue to, for anyone who may be thinking about that, just continue to focus on yourself and your own development, and believe that where you're at could be a good spot for you.
Thank you.
Any further questions for Parker? All right, Parker, want to thank you for your time this afternoon. Safe travels to Detroit, and best of luck this weekend.
Thank you, guys. I appreciate it.
Next, we'll bring on Adonis Williams. Oh, there you are. That was easy. Adonis, I asked, you probably heard me ask Parker, just, congrats on making this game and playing for a MAC championship. But again, what does it mean to you to not only be coming here to Detroit, but to be playing against a rival?
It means a lot, having been there the first time and not coming out with that win, and to be able to be back there and playing our rival, it means a lot. After playing them already once this year and not coming out with a win, it's gonna be mean even more, and even more emotions are gonna be into it, and it's gonna make me and the guys come back with a win even more.
We will go first to Eric Decker. Eric, your microphone is open.
Hey, Don, it's Eric Decker with the Athens Messenger. Obviously, with you being one of the few guys in the program who were a part of that 2022 team, and Coach Albin kind of heralding your leadership ability all throughout the year, is there anything that you have kind of done with the defensive unit, kind of talking to them about what to expect, things like that, coming into such a high-pressured game?
Things to expect. Just as far as keeping your cool. It's a rivalry game, of course, so things might get a little chippy. So being able to keep your cool, not doing anything when you're not supposed to, just coming out with this energy all day, and just being able to give it your all every step, every play, and just to be under control and in check throughout the game.
Thanks.
Next, we'll go to Grant. Grant, your microphone's open.
Hey, Adonis. It's been no secret that the secondary's been through a lot this year. Obviously, Jeremiah gets hurt week 1, hasn't been back yet. You get hurt week 1, don't come back till week 8, and no Austin Brawley since September. Can you just describe to me how that unit as a whole has overcome adversity this year?
That's something we dealt with many times, something we deal with just throughout life in general. being able to see our brothers go down and the next guy step up, and we push that person who is put into that role. It's not been hard on us. We ball for our brothers who have been taken out the game, and we go hard with each other, or whether that's watching film or practicing, doing anything. We get through it, and we continue to get through it. That's just who we are as the DBs on this team.
Next, we'll go to Bobby Keegan. Bobby, your microphone's open.
Adonis, as a defender, how big is it that you guys have seen this offense before, given the success that they've had, and how have you guys kind of used that first game against Miami to prepare for Saturday?
I think it's very big, just, being able to actually play them already, know where they could probably attack us and where our strengths could be is going to mean a lot. So it comes down to how much we watch film and how focused we've been leading up to this and taking that previous game into this one and using the keys and what things we've already learned to go out and stop them as best we can and come out with the victory.
Any other questions for Adonis? Steve Helwick, microphone's open.
Hi, Adonis. With the loss of a defensive coordinator over the offseason and several key players, such as the linebacking core last year, how has the defense been able to remain the strength of this unit just with reloading a lot of the depth?
I think we've always had that chip. Whether that's guys who have played or haven't played, the next man up is going to come in and they're going to give it their all. That started way when all the guys left and having to regroup and rebrand. Everybody step up. We stepped up to the roles we had to play, and we got the job done. And we continue each week to prepare the right way, practice hard, and that's just how we've been staying on top of it and helping out the offense.
And if you have a question for Adonis, please use the raise hand feature. All right, Adonis, if that's it, then gonna thank you for your time this afternoon. And again, safe travels up here to Detroit and best of luck.
All right, thank you.
Yep. Now we'll bring on head coach Tim Albin. Give me a second here. Here, Coach, hear me all right?
Yes, sir.
All right, awesome. Coach Albin, congrats again on reaching the MAC championship game this Saturday. Just want to open up again with your thoughts on reaching this and what it means to you and the guys to be playing for a title.
Obviously, we're excited with this season and reaching this a goal everyone's got as a program. There can only be two, and what a matchup! Great for college football, great for our conference. You have the two best defenses, the two best quarterbacks, the two best offensive line. You look at the stats, the category wise, you got the best two teams. Our commissioner, doing away with the East and West has created excitement. Throughout the course of the year, there's several teams in play coming down the stretch, and obviously, particularly on our side, from through our eyes, when the East teams, you lose to a certain team, it's that team has to lose twice, and how the old format. So we're here because of how it's played out, and the program is very excited. Again, both two supercharged fan bases. This is really a bonus game for us, and we're excited about being back in Detroit.
Thank you, Coach. And again, congrats on your Coach of the Year honor. I should say that to start things off. Grant Kiefer, your microphone is now open.
Coach, obviously there's a lot that goes into this game, a lot to be playing for, but with it being a rivalry game as well, and just the amount of time it's taken for this program to win this conference title, Do you think you pose this guy to the guys more of, hey, let's go win a championship, or hey, let's go beat our rivals after what happened a couple months ago?
Yeah, I think it's the championship piece. I mean, it's another opportunity to play together. I just want them to play fast and free, and prepare the right way. The the outcomes and things like that's for the fans, but we all know that it's there with our players. But I just think the preparation piece of this and is the key. There's going to be emotion on both sides, but that's why you have a bunch of competitors, and that's why you play that's one of the reasons why you play the game. And so I'm just really excited for the environment and another opportunity to play as a football team, as an Ohio Bobcat, have another opportunity to play together. Our team has certainly earned that, and we're going to embrace it. Go have some fun.
Next, we will go to Eric Decker. Eric, go ahead. Your microphone's open.
Hey, Coach. Obviously, with the release of the All MAC awards today, 4 of your guys who got recognized, you brought in through the portal at one point or another. So, in terms of that, what does that just say to the institution? I guess the culture that you guys are trying to create, and the fit and schemes that you guys are trying to fit.
Well, I think, as I've said, really all year, particularly here this last half the season, our coaching staff's done a marvelous job, and you pointed out those postseason awards by certain players. So obviously there's the good recruiting, but then you have the character piece, the locker room piece, and their buy-in and fit into our program. And so the award that I somehow was awarded is solely from our coaching staff, and because they have done a fabulous job, an unbelievable job, and especially with the turnover that we've have gone through. But to you'd mentioned how our program is ran and our culture. I think that goes back to Coach Solich and his time, and it's something that you got to fight. You got to fight for that every day. You got to fight for culture every day, and having great young men in that locker room is the most important aspect. And so we're very excited for the recognition, and I'm happy for those guys that were recognized, and all the athletes that were recognized. And yeah, that's my thoughts on it.
Thanks, Coach.
You bet.
Next, Steve Helwick.
Hey, Coach, you've built a winning program both under Frank and under you over the years. It seems like this MAC championship is the last box to check, having not won one since 1968. I'm curious, have you met with anybody from the 68 team? Have they come in and talked to the team? Is there anybody you have ties with that have talked about that?
I have not had anybody come in and speak to the team, no. And really, we haven't really discussed it, in front of the team. But I have had a lot of contact with some alumni from that era. I think 2 years ago, I wrote probably close to 30 guys off the 68 team, mid-20s. Wrote them a personal letter, and I wear the Block O hat on game day in honor of Coach Bill Hess and his career here. As a lot of the pictures that are on the walls and the history there, he wears the Block O, and I obviously I work for Coach Solich here in this program, and what Bill Hess got done in his time is really remarkable, and so I like to embrace that. And so it's that hat, our acronym that we have, Hess, hydrate, eat, sleep, and succeed. is something that's the staple here in our program that I'm very proud of. And so you try to connect the history, playing on Frank Solich Field, the acronym of HESS, and it's really a cool thing. You're at a historic Peden Stadium, Don Peden. It's really a cool thing. And so, but back to the connection on 6018, I've had communication with several guys. Again, like I said, I mentioned I wrote a handwritten letter to all members that I could get access to as far as addresses 2 years ago, and I think you embrace it, and we certainly have.
Thanks, Coach. And also from the 2022 MAC championship you participated in, what are some of the things that you learned from coaching in that game? I know it's a lot different roster and stuff that you can maybe apply to 2024.
I think the volume of the stadium. I mean, we had the best fans in our league, and the loudness of it. We got caught a few times at the line of scrimmage with noise, which we hadn't had. And I've been there a few times. Had not had in the years past, and I'm anticipating a record number of attendance with these two supercharged fan bases. That's what I'm anticipating, and so that would be one. And then it was a little bit warmer in there than what I remember, And so our guys we got to make sure that we're doing things right with hydration going into that game. Those are probably the two biggest things.
Thanks, Coach.
Next, we'll go to Bobby Keegan. Bobby, your microphone's open.
Coach, I think Chuck Martin was asked something similar to this question a couple days ago, but just kind of when you look at your brand and your program as a whole, how important is it for you guys to play on this stage, especially 2 times in the last 3 years?
Yeah, again, I think it's great for college football. Ohio University has got a strong brand. The academic piece of this, over 250 majors, enrollment of just shy of 25,000 here in Athens. And you get about 25,000 locals. So it's a small college town with a great education and tons of academic support. Our graduation rate this past year at 93%. And the last 2 bowl games, back in 22 and 23, 52 guys had a degree in hand while the game was going on. The Myrtle Beach Bowl was the first bowl of the year last year, and we took finals for the first time at the bowl site, and had several, I think 5 or 6 or 7 guys that graduated at mid-year. That's not counted in those numbers. So back to our brand, the education piece of this is our number one selling point, and we have got a proven blueprint on guys getting their degrees from a wonderful institution. And then, to your point, you're going to win some games, and you're going to get a chance to go play on some bowl games, and you're going to go experience tubing down a mountain at the Potatoes Bowl. You're going to get a chance maybe to go to Bahamas Bowl, and or go to Arizona and see cactus for the first time, or a desert for the first time. The bowl experience in college football, you can't put a price tag on it. You combine that with a great education at a wonderful institution with great administration that backs you, and you combine some of the winning along with some bowl experiences. It's a pretty good gig, and I think that that's what makes the college game so great, and Brooke and I are humbled to be a part of it.
We will go now to Chris Vogt. Chris, go ahead.
Coach, with this being your 4th year going up against Miami as a head coach, what's it been like coaching against Matt Salapak and guys like Brett Gabbert? And are you ready to see them leave?
Well, I tell you what, Coach Martin's done a wonderful job. He's got a great roster. I'm going to be honest with you. We've literally had to. We've kind of retooled and changed some things in how we recruit based on what Chuck's gotten done there. We play him every year, and we've had some great games. It was like these last 2, they've really gotten after us. I mean, I tip my hat. I consider Chuck a friend, but he's done a good job. Where we've had to adjust. But back to those, I mean, they've got player of the year with Gabbert, the linebacker. I mean, both of us are great players. But you know what? I mean, John Hauser's here. I mean, they're great young men. It reminds me of our guys on our team, and I know there's Miami knows a lot about us. We know a lot about them. We recruit some of their players. I think it's vice versa, and so you just, it's really great. Again, this matchup and the rivalry is great too. But you got two really good similar teams that academics are important, playing at a high level. And but back to, I'm ready for those guys to graduate. Yeah, damn right.